going on, guys? It's been quite a while since I've posted anything up or made any videos about Celica. I think it's been almost a year. So without any further interruptions, we'll call it, we're gonna get started on this and just get cranking. I'm excited to get started again and get the ball rolling. I made some room in the garage, cleared a couple cars out, also bought some equipment. So this is kind of like my mini machine shop now. Nothing will be parked in here. I think we left off at doing the ITBs, and that's what we're gonna do today. We're gonna dive right in. Got a couple other things to do. The flywheel I had resurfaced a couple days ago, so that's good to go. And now my plan is today to mate the engine tranny together, do all that good stuff, put the shifter relocation in, and hopefully we can mount the engine in. Let's go ahead and dive in. I got some other cooling things to put on there, you know, for the coolant system. So we'll do a couple things and then see if we can get this thing in, because it's been way too long. So, all right. Motion. This is most of the cooling stuff. This is all our intake stuff, our injectors, and this is some power steering stuff. We'll get into that a little later. And then our engine mounts and tranny mounts. Right now, we're gonna focus on the beam side. We're not gonna focus on the ITBs for a minute or anything else. The original beams intake side, we'll say, consists of 3 parts. This will go on the head, this will go on here, and then to adapt your ITBs, you need an adapter plate, which is right here. So it'll just sandwich, everything will sandwich together as such. And then we'll end up putting our individual throttle bodies here, here, and here. Bolt them in and put everything on. Before I do that, I'm gonna paint this black. Then we'll go ahead and put this stuff on and you'll see a little better of kind of how things fit up. So, all right. All right, so that's done. Now, let's go ahead and put this guy on here. And then this section here goes on. All right, let's move on to our throttle bodies. These throttle bodies are out of a blacktop 4AGE. It's a 20 valve engine, and this is what they use. And they're like encompassed, you know, with a box, but many of you watching this, you already know what these are, so I don't have to get into detail about telling you what they're off of or what the performance is, whatever. We're gonna take these off, stick them on the engine, easy. So we're gonna kind of dig in here. Most of this stuff we're not gonna use. Possibly some brackets. I have some other brackets for the throttle cable, but we'll kind of figure that out as we go. This one is 1, and this one is 1. This one is 2, 3, and then I don't know why they use these Phillips head. It's kind of ridiculous, but holy crap. Oh no, I knew that was coming. Now we're in trouble. Strip the bolt or screw. There's nothing left in it, I don't think. Yeah, it's jacked. I'm not sure if this is gonna work, but before I go screwing around any other way, let's see what I got here. This sort of sucks, dude. This way on it. I got this thing pretty tight, so. Oh, yep. And there it is. That was kind of lackluster. Get out of here. You're in the garbage. So this is our adapter plate from John over at JSP. I have a lot of things from this guy. He's really supportive and he makes great stuff. You'll see I have some motor mounts from him and fuel rail as well. These are going to adapt to here, obviously, you know, and so on, with the gaskets in. But I think that I'm going to paint this guy also because it's just too much. I have some stuff that my brother recommended that is like, it's almost like aluminum cleaner, like acid. It'll get these things shining really good. So I'll clean them up, they'll look minty. Let's go ahead and paint this one also. I'll be right back. Not too bad, it's still a little wet, but it's good. So whenever I put these injectors in, or any injectors, I don't really want to mess with the O-rings. Depending on how bad they are, I may end up trying to get new ones if I can, but I find that these are sometimes a pain in the ass to get. So what I'll do is I'll just throw some oil on here and pop them in gently and see how they go. Later on, before I start this, these are going to come out again, and I'm going to get these flow tested, cleaned, and make sure these are 100%. I'd like to know what these are flowing at because obviously they're old. They don't really seat very well. I think that these O-rings are shot. They're kind of falling out. Let me check and see if I have some laying around. Some are universal, some are not. At least I have the top O-rings here. I can see these are different. These are not going to cut it. Another one's in here. We're going to have to get some injected O-rings here, or seals, whatever. So this is our fuel rail. Another one from JSP. Nice piece. We're going to go ahead and put this in anyway with our injectors, just to clear things up off the bench. Things will get lost maybe. These are the factory ones. We reuse these. And we'll just pop these in quick and come back to them. I also want to get some new bolts. These kind of janky. Get some button heads or something like that. And then here's the little cap. I'll probably end up running a gauge, pressure gauge, so I know what's going on. Yet another thing from John is our engine mounts. So these things are all billet, mint as hell, 2 pieces. Pretty trick. Let's put these in. All right, the mounts I went with are, these are the Crossmember mounts, I guess they'd be called, engine mounts, same. These are from Excessive Motorsports. They're pretty good, they're polyurethane. They were silver, painted them black, because silver's done. So I'm gonna kind of leave these on the looser side, maybe. Just kind of like snug them up. Because I bet you when I go put the Crossmember in, I'm gonna have to shimmy and jimmy around according to the transmission mount. So, all right guys, here's our Crossmember. It's a pretty good piece. I had it powder coated, it comes raw. They do make a couple different versions of this. This one is the one that will have your steering rack in back of the engine without having to cut the pan. A lot of other ones they make, you'll have to notch the back of the pan so you can fit the steering rack in. So anyway, I was skeptical about this. Hopefully we're gonna put it together, hopefully it works. I'm still skeptical, but let's give it a shot. So this is a power steering rack, complete. I didn't want to search for one. This is from an I think AW11 of a Corolla. So this thing comes complete from Technotoy. I was looking for one of these online and couldn't find anything. Everything was either too far gone to refinish or just way too much money. So let's go ahead and put this thing in. I'm going to try to one-man show here. I'm going to try to hook one end in here and then one around here, and then I can tie it in here. So let's see if that works. It should be fun. Not too bad. It clears back pretty good. It's tight and it's nice. Not too bad. Moving on to our transmission. This is the J160, comes stock on the Beams engine. A lot of people relocate the shifter forward so you can use the existing hole. So that's what we're after today. Couple companies that make kits, and one of the companies is Excessive, which they do a lot of like stamped bent metal. The quality of JSP, I believe, is much better. Most of the stuff I use is from John, and here's another piece from him. So here is the kit. This is the assembly, I'll call it. This kit also has a reverse lockout feature, but you push down and you release the gate, and that's how you get into reverse. I think VW has that similar mechanism on their cars. You kind of push down. It comes with quite a few things here. Your assembly. This is a shaft that kind of goes in here, replaces the OEM one, and some brackets, as well as your shifter itself, and then some bolts and your reverse lockout mechanism piece right there. Let's go ahead and put this in, disassemble this, and then we'll put John's kit in and see how it goes. So you want to remove these little locators. And then John's kit comes with two different spacers, we'll call them. Two different sets of spacers. The reason for that, the aluminum tower, as most have, I think, you will use the fat guys. And then the thinner ones, they're made for a steel tower. I'm not sure what that looks like, but that's the difference of these. So these, we won't need at all. These, we will. Next, we're gonna pop this pin out here. Remove this bolt here. So this part will go here. Make sure the shaft is clean. What I think I'm going to do is kind of start this this pin, so I'm not putting too much stress on this here. Line this up. So there's two positions here you can run. There's an upper one. You can move it closer to. I'm going to kind of move this closer. And the only reason I'm going to do that is because I have the shifter bent back. So I want it kind of as far as possible. I'm actually going to put some Loctite on these. I don't want those going anywhere. Next we'll put these guys in here. These are marked left and right. Points go back. And again, these are the bigger ones. These have like nice little locators on there. They kind of stay put where they're supposed to go. Okay, so here's our shifter. There's two positions to put this at according to where you place this.
So you can either have it towards the back or towards the front. I'm gonna go towards the front with it because my shifter stick, whatever you wanna call it, is bent to the back. So I want this thing kind of as forward as possible. And I also I put a little lube around here. I don't know, I just don't like to put anything in that's moving like that with no kind of lubricant. That's that. There's a couple different bolts here. Some longer ones, shorter ones, and even longer ones. As you can tell which one goes where. And then there also is some shorter ones here, but these little guys will be used with the skinnier ones if that's the application you have. So. As far as the reverse lockout goes, here's our little bracket, and here's some screws. So there is adjustment on this, as you can tell, as well. And I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But let's go ahead and install this. This kind of goes here. You can still move it. And there's a little pin there. I don't know if you can see that. But there's a little pin that's going to come in contact with that. That's where you want to be. So I'm going to kind of push that towards it. And then I'm going to kind of just snug it down a little bit. It should come in contact with that. Just like that. See it right there? It comes in contact with that bracket. And then when you push it down, obviously, it's going to clear it. So to clear this, you just push down on your shifter. And then you are, here's your reverse. Back. Let's see. I'm going to put a new throw bearing in there since I have it. And then we'll put this thing on the ground. We'll put it on the ground. And then we're going to address the back of the engine. Here's the throw bearing. This one is the OEM one from Toyota. So let's go ahead and take the other one out here. You just remove the spring. Okay, back to our engine here. I'm gonna put my thermostat in here. This is another piece from John over at JSP. This is all, again, all billet. And it also has 16 AN fitting on it because that's what I'll be running to my radiator as well as the top one. Let's put this guy in. I don't think you need to have too much force tightening these down. All right, onto the back of the water pump here. There's two holes here, and I would like to talk about how and what these are and what they do. Essentially, I wanted to delete all the coolant stuff I could. The reason for that is just to clean everything up. I'm not going to use a heater core, and I don't need anything heating my throttle body for cold starts or anything like that. So I had to figure out what does what. Obviously, these are the only lines that are coming off of the water pump other than the one feeding the radiator. How these work, apparently, is that this first hole here is a bypass for the thermostat. So it will go up and into your upper water neck, and then that will bypass your thermostat and help it open quicker. So that one is kind of a no-brainer, kind of know what to do there. The rear one here is sealed with an O-ring, which is kind of nerve-wracking because I was like, what does it do? Why is it sealed like that? This one feeds the back of the engine. It actually goes around to the other side. This one feeds your heater core, and then it also feeds your throttle body. And then the heater core, obviously see you later. It's nice to have, but this is not the car for that. So what I came up with is the factory flange and kind of, hose end, we'll call it, that goes in the O-ring side. And I just cut it and modified it to do what I want. My brother helped me out on this, welded it maybe 6 times. I don't know, maybe a couple times. So he used a fancy plug for me. The last one he did last night. I think this is a dash 10, maybe 12. I think it's a 10. And what this is gonna do is sit here and completely plug off the one for the back. And then also I'm gonna have an AN style probably coming down or something, some way to come up and feed our upper water neck, which we'll talk about that a little more. I ran into a couple issues with that, but I'll show you guys that sooner or later. So let's put this on. I'm gonna grab a new O-ring, and I believe there is a gasket here, which I'm gonna double side RTV, just to ensure, because once the manifold's on and everything is on, it's gonna be real tight to start screwing around in here with the fittings and then a big fitting here. Like, I wanna make sure I don't have to touch this again. I was gonna paint it, but I think I'm gonna leave it like that, just because. So here's the rear main seal. I'm gonna pop this guy out. I was looking through my stuff, and I noticed I didn't have the gasket, the paper gasket that goes around this side here. So I'm gonna try to leave it as it is and then pop this out. I know it's not the right way to do it. I do have another gasket here, but let's give it a shot. If I can't get it out and back in nice, then we will take this off, and then I'll wait and get a seal, but I'm gonna give it a shot. I think I can do it. This is not the right way to do this, but we're just gonna go at it here. Gingerly, we'll say. There it is. This isn't in the worst shape, but I'm gonna replace it anyway. Obviously, this is what you do. You're back here, you're stupid not to. So let's clean it up, and then I'll put some, probably just some oil around here and try to kind of work itself in. Okay, so here we are. So this is a paintbrush handle. I kind of cut down and rounded out a little bit, so maybe that'll help us a little. That feels even all the way around. All right, give that a shot. Let's put this flywheel on. So here it is. I resurfaced it. It's all nice. Here's the bearings for it. This is the old one. It seems to be in pretty good shape, but we're gonna go ahead and place it anyway because we're in there, and I don't think I want to do this again. Just gotta put this thing in. There's a little ridge there. You probably can't tell, but I'm not gonna go past that ridge. Yeah, that's good. So I decided to put this thing on the floor. I think that'll be a little easier to maneuver stuff as well as tighten it up, you know, when we're torquing these down. Use a little blue Loctite here. Not too much. All right, I've been reading online, and a lot of people are saying, you know, anywhere from 60 to 80, I'm finding, would be our torque spec. So I'm gonna do probably 75, you know, around there. I have a feeling this is gonna turn, which is awesome. So let me get a little wrench here, see if I can do this myself. Maybe I can bolt something to there and hold it, and I'll figure something out. Let's see what we got. So I went ahead and took off a little bracket here to hold the engine. I don't know what these things are called, I forgot. But it seems to work pretty damn perfect. Well, maybe we'll go this way like that. Kind of strange, it worked, but whatever. Pretty good. So here's our clutch. This clutch is out of an old Toyota truck. There's a guy on YouTube that I follow. I think his name is Doctored Garage. So check his stuff out. He's got a ton of good info, and he made my life a lot easier. This clutch is the same part numbers as the ones you would buy for your beams. He did all the math, pressure plate, the same, everything. There's a little centering tool. And this pilot bearing here, which you can tell is a different size. So you're not going to use this, obviously, get the Toyota one. So let's go ahead and put this in. I'm going to clean this surface and yeah. So I was thinking about it, and we forgot one thing, which is not awesome, but I think we can sneak it in there. This is your starter shim. I think it's called starter shim. So I think it'll be all right. It's supposed to go on before all this does, but it's flexible enough, so we may be able to sneak it in. I was just shitting my pants a little bit there for a minute. There it goes. Now let's wrestle with this thing. I kind of lifted the engine up a little bit, and we will do some more lifting. One quick thing I wanted to touch on was these two ports or plugs. These are for your coolant, and this one I just took out and resealed, put it back in. This one I replaced, and what was there before was this petcock, and this is just to drain the block as far as the reading I can find. You loosen the bolt, comes out there. We don't need it anymore. Plugged it up. Okay guys, this is where we're at. Ran into a little snag. There's these risers here. They go underneath the K-member, or on top of the K-member rather, and they, will drop the engine a little lower, which is needed with this swap. But the only thing is, the holes are drilled in the wrong position. These are the two we need, and they're not in line. I mean, if you're gonna make another option, why wouldn't you put it here? So these are from Excessive. I don't really think they're the best. Clearly now they're not, but I'll show you how, what are the options we got here. So I'm gonna go in this hole first, and that puts us right there. And there's a huge chunk hanging out. I don't really like that. So the other option is to move it in, and now we don't have a hole to put it in. So I can flip it around and use our hole here. And it doesn't clear the other side of the frame. So let's flip it around. And the whole thing sticks out. So I don't understand. So whatever, I'm gonna just end up basically drilling a hole here. So essentially I'll use this one, and then I'm drilling another one here. But I wish I tried these in there before I did all this. So let's go ahead and pop these holes in here, and then we'll start over again. All right, let's try this again. All right, here's our trans mount. This is from Excessive also, both of them. It's pretty straightforward. So this is what's happening here. I don't know if you can see that right there. That is the shifter relocation part there. So let me make some clearance there. We'll just cut it out a little bit, a couple inches. And that's it. So we need to come over a little more. Well, we're gonna run into some issues with that shifter again. I think the engine needs to come back a little maybe. Yeah, we're gonna have to open up that shifter again. Shifter hole. You probably saw me when I'm jacking it up, hit the sides. I didn't really see that, but we're gonna come out here with it. Right out there. There we go. Big round of money. All right, let's see how it goes now. I jack this up. We're good there. And we're good here. All right, guys, that about does it. Got a lot done this time. Made some good progress. Wrestled with a few things, which was fun. One thing that I did notice was that there's quite a bit of room between the firewall and the engine, which is probably fine, but let me show you here. Kind of anal about things. I'd like for it to be tucked back in there a little more, as you can see there. I mean, it's not too much, because it's maybe 4 or 5 inches. I was thinking about it, and I think maybe I was gonna try to move the whole crossmember back a little bit, as well as the transmission mount. But I think I'm probably gonna be opening up Pandora's box, which none of us want that. So next, we're gonna focus on the throttle bodies, finishing that up. We're gonna focus on the steering column, try to get that done, as well as mocking my manifold up to see if that fits. Hopefully it does, and we have no issues with that. But yeah, so stay tuned, guys, and see how things unfold. Thanks.